Good morning, friends. Welcome back to the class. I hope you all are safe at home and healthy too. So, now in the session 2, we are going to study the types of sets as a part 2 of this session. Now, in this topic, we are going to cover the major three types of sets. One is the empty set, the second is finite and infinite set, the third is equivalent sets. So let's try to understand what is meant by empty set and all. So one by one we'll take. What is the empty set? First we will discuss what is empty set. Empty set you can easily understand by the name itself. What it speaks, the set which is completely empty, there is no element in a set. Let us take an example. Set A is, I am writing a set builder form. X says that X is less than 0 where X is belongs to natural number. Now try to give the answer in a roster form. We are looking for the number X such that X is a natural number which is less than 0, right? I think there is no such element which is less than 0. Hence, this set, if I want to write in a roster form, I will simply say there is no element in the set. Hence, this is called empty set. So basically, empty set means a set which does not have any elements. And in some context, the empty sets also known as the void set, also known as null set. There are various terminologies used for representing this empty set. Sometimes we are representing it as a void set, sometimes we are taking the name null set, and it is symbolically represented by, two symbols. One is pi, this is a symbol used to represent the null set, or else you may also use the curly brackets, that is empty curly brackets, to represent the null set. That's it. So there are two symbols basically we are using to represent the null set. So our empty set, empty means there is no element in the given set. Now to understand this empty set nature, I am taking two questions, whether uh, decide whether they are the empty sets or not. Right. So I'm giving one question here to just to check whether it is a null set or not. Just we need to say whether it is yes or no. The set is given as x such that x square is equal to minus 2 where x is and belongs to any real number. Just read it carefully. X such that x square is equal to minus 2 where x is belongs to real number. So there is no such real number, right, which satisfying this condition. So there is no such real number whose square will give minus 2. So therefore we can say A is simply a null set, right? Otherwise you may also say it is null set. Fine. And then if I take the another set, x says that x is belongs to natural number, x is belongs to natural number where x is a even prime number, even prime number. Can we say whether it is empty set? Let's just check. X is what? Even prime number. What is an even prime number? That is 2, and that 2 is also belongs to natural number. Hence the number which satisfying the given property is the element 2. So it has one element, hence it cannot be a null set. It cannot be a null set. So as a beginning of the second exercise in the NCRT, you are given some set of some sets, just where you need to decide whether it is empty set or not, just by listing their elements in roster form, nothing else. Now coming to the finite and infinite sets. right? If I say the finite and infinite sets, it's so simple to understand. Name itself speaks everything. When you say finite set, so finite set means a set which has finite number of elements, where countable also and finite number of elements. Let us say I am writing the set of natural numbers which are less than 6. So these are what? A finite set. An example. Set of vowels in English alphabet A, E, I, O, U. Right? And you may also speak a set of weekdays in a week. The set of days in a week. Let us say that is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and Sunday. Fine. So there are 7 days. There is a finite number of elements. Hence, we can write the it as a finite set. So finite set means a set which contains the finite number of elements. Now, no need to explain about the infinite set. We have understood here. Infinite means a set which contains infinitely many numbers. Let us say set of natural numbers. I am talking about infinite now. Infinite. So infinite set means what? Set of natural numbers 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma so dot dot dot. Right? Set of whole numbers I can speak. The set of whole numbers is an infinite set 0, 1, 2, 3, and dot dot dot. So there are several examples you can give for infinite set. Set of prime numbers. Set of prime numbers means like say the smallest prime number is 2, then 3, then 5, then 7, dot dot dot. So this is what infinite sets. Infinite set means a set which contains infinite number of elements. So few sets will be given to you. Just you need to bifurcate whether it is a finite set or infinite set just by writing the sets in a roster form, if possible and wherever it is. Right? Now the important point to remember about the infinite sets is while expressing the infinite sets, we are not able to list all the elements till the end. That's why what we are doing, we are just listing few elements. We are just listing few elements which are following particular pattern, and then we'll write the three dots. So three dots says what? It's always says it's keep on going, it's keep on maintaining the same property and same characteristic pattern. Hence we say that dot dot dot. Even we in our common language we are using this language where like when we wanted to say there are so many examples like this. So what we say either etc or we are using dot dot dot. So dot 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 means the same pattern is just following. Hence, by representing the infinite set, we are using the three dots to say, yes, this pattern is going on to an infinite. So this is what infinite sets. So I hope you have understood the meaning of finite sets and infinite sets. There is no glitch at all. It's very clear, very crystal clear topic. Okay, only set of questions will be given to you. Just you need to decide whether it is a finite or infinite. So what is the best way to decide the finite and infinite set? Just by expressing them into a roster form. Roster form means we need to list the elements to get a clear idea about the type of set, whether it is a finite or infinite set. But the important point again I'm talking about while writing the infinite set, it is not necessary, it is not always possible to write every set in a roster form. Remember, we are not able to write each and every set in a listed form or roster form. Why? Because if I say the important point here, set of real numbers. Just I'm talking about set of real numbers. So when you talk about real numbers, they are we can say the numbers which are not expressible in the form of p by q, where p and q are some integers and q is not equal to 0 at all. But if I want to write in a listed form or roster form, there is no such pattern that numbers are following. As I told you in the beginning of this session of this chapter, What is meant by the well-defined collection? We are just grouping such type of objects or element which are always following a kind of pattern, a particular pattern. But when we try to write down the real numbers, there are several forms of real numbers we have. Decimal form, irrational form. There are so many numbers. So almost every type of number which we have studied in our lifespan is completely belongs to what real numbers only. So there is no such pattern that real numbers are following. Hence, real numbers set cannot be represented in roster form. So this is a glitch again. Fine. So you have to remember this point very carefully, right? As a special note. There are two different points we have discussed in this topic. One is about the infinite set. While writing the infinite set, we need to list only three or four elements which are clearly giving the message, the pattern which they are following. After that, just you need to write three dots to finish the set. Nothing else. Okay. And real numbers is a set, is the only set we can say even which cannot be written in a roster form, because that real numbers are not following the exact pattern where we can list the elements. Hence, if this real number set is always expressible in set builder form, that is we called as property form. So how I can represent this real numbers in a property form? Let's see. Set of real numbers is always represented in a set builder form. X is a number such that X is not expressible in the form of P by Q. Nothing else. Over. This is the way to represent a set of real numbers, because there is no such pattern they are following. Fine. So this is all about the finite and infinite set. Now coming to the next topic, that is equivalent sets. And what are equivalent? What is equivalent sets? I am writing two sets here. Set A has three elements A, B, and C. Set B has again three elements 1, 2, 3. Right? So just if I want to say a count, what is the count? Number of elements in A, 3. Number of elements in B. So how I am writing this number of elements? Number of n of A is 3. N of B is also 3. See, I'm just interested to speak about the numbers, not on the elements. Okay, so number of elements in set A is 3. Number of elements set B is 3. Hence, we can say here number of A is not sorry is equal to number of B. Therefore, set A and B are called equivalent set. They are similar, not congruent. Okay, they are similar. What we say here, A is similar to B. Similar means, when I say similar, means here in set theory language we are saying it as equivalent. Equivalent sets, because their cardinal number is same. So what is my cardinal number? Cardinal number means cardinal number means only number of elements present in a given set. What is the cardinal number of set A? 3. What is the cardinal number of set B? Is also 3. Here the cardinal number of set A and set B are same. Number of elements in both the sets are same. Hence we can say that the given two sets are equivalent sets. And how we can represent symbolically? Just by writing the similar sign between the two sets, not equal to sign. Now, what else about the equal sets? Equal sets. Right. So, again, I'm just giving an example. Set A, I'm writing the elements like. Now, just think about the number of elements in set A. How many elements set A has? So, usually, if you say by counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but we know that in a set theory language, repetition is not allowed. Our repetition of the element of has no use at all. it's senseless. Hence, we need to strike out the element which are repeated. Hence, what is the exact number of element the set has? That is equal to 1, comma 2, comma 3 only. Hence, here, if you observe the set A and set B, both are identical, means every number of elements are also same and that elements are identical. If the every element of set A is identical with every element of set B, then A is said to be what? Equal to B, or A is equal to B, and A and B are called equal sets. A and B are called equal sets. We can write A is equal to B. Now, if I am giving you the two sets, set P has 1 comma 2 and set Q has 2 comma 3. Now, here the counting wise they are same, means P is equivalent Q because number of elements in P and Q are same. Hence P is equivalent Q. Here I can write P is equivalent to Q. But P is not equal to Q. It means that though they are equivalent but they are not equal sets. Reason is if this set has one element, P has element 1 but Q doesn't have. So hence we can say P is not equal to Q. While we are saying not equal, we need to mention the reason why it is not equal. We can say simply 1 in as an element belongs to P but but 1 is not belongs to Q. So this is a way to express the answer whenever you are saying it is not. So in mathematics, when we wanted to say it is not true or it is false, so what is the technique we are using? Counter example technique. This type of technique is known as counter example technique. To say any statement is false or it is not true, just we are following the counter example technique. Counter example technique says give a proper example where the statement is not true or where the statement is false. So here we stated the set P is not equal to set Q simply by saying 1 is belongs to P but 1 is not belongs to Q. Hence P is not equal to Q, but they are equivalent sets. So I hope you have understood the meaning of equal sets and equivalent sets. Now it's your turn to finish the remaining exercise, that is exercise May 1.2 exercise from NCERT textbook. Let's do it and finish it. Thank you all of you and keep on watching the videos and subscribe it to get the next session on your fingertips. Thank you all of you.